Well, joining me now to further discuss the matter and much more is Arizona Congressman Biggs. Hi, Congressman. Thanks for joining us again.
Thanks for having me. Good to be with you.
So we just played that clip of White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany slamming Democratic lawmakers for breaking their own coronavirus restrictions. So while the rest of us have to abide by these rules, they apparently don't. So what's your reaction to that, and what do you think Americans should be doing?
Well, first of all, my reaction is it would be funny if it wasn't so serious, because it is evidence of the authoritarianism, the tyranny that's inherent in the left. I mean, they want to give us all kinds of rules that govern our lives, but they don't want to have to be subject to the same rules that they foist upon everyone. So, I mean, even Kayleigh just mentioned a few of these, but I mean, you've got everybody from, I think it's the Austin mayor, you had the Denver mayor that said don't travel, didn't bother to reveal that he was going to Mississippi with his family for Thanksgiving. You've got a whole host of public officials who impose this on us and then say, hey, you know what, I'm too good, I don't have to do it. So that's really the hypocrisy of the left.
Well, and what do you think Americans should be doing then? Seeing this, being told one thing, and seeing leadership do another?
I think they should live like free Americans. I mean, to say that each one of us assess the risk of our lives, we mitigate the risk where we can, we accept the risk in other occasions, and I think that's what we should do, and we should make a clarion call, whether it's social media, it's emails, whether it's as some of these mayors and leaders have experienced right outside their own home, people saying and protesting and exercising their right to assemble and their right to protest. And that's what Americans need to do. We can no longer just rely on the ballot box, because all of us are wondering how much integrity we can have in the ballot box right now. But what we need to do is make sure that we hold their feet to the fire, public officials' feet to the fire, and let them know we're dissatisfied and upset with these constant tyrannical edicts that they choose to ignore.
And so while we're on the topic of COVID, today Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell said that Democratic leaders had signaled a new willingness, as he put it, to engage in good faith on a COVID stimulus deal. Speaker Pelosi and Senator Chuck Schumer haven't released details of this new proposal of theirs that they sent over to McConnell, but there's a lot of talk about optimism. How likely do you think that reaching a bipartisan deal is possible, and when?
Well, you're going to need a broader support in both conferences, Republican conferences in both houses to get a deal, I think. And I will just tell you that they'll be happy to peel off a couple of Republicans either side to stick it with the vast majority of Democrats and call it a bipartisan bill. But that doesn't mean it'll be bipartisan. And one of my biggest concerns is there's no accountability. There's money that's still out there. I think the last number I saw was almost $500 billion left unspent from the previous package. And all you really need to do, if you want to do this right, is you reallocate that money, don't add new money, and you make it very targeted, and you don't bail out the states, the cities, and counties that have issued these lockdowns, these horrific edicts that have shut down their economies, and now they want to be bailed out. I think that it's possible you'll see something, but I don't know that you'll see anything within the next 10 days, and we'll probably be here only 10 to 12 days.
All right, because then there's a Christmas break there, of course. So we'll have to wait and see where that goes. I want to ask you about another topic. Yesterday, we saw reports saying the DOJ reaffirmed that it will continue to pursue all specific and credible allegations of fraud in the election after Attorney General William Barr said that to this point, the DOJ hasn't found any evidence of widespread election fraud, but the Trump campaign issued a response. And again, they're saying that they've gathered ample evidence of illegal voting in a handful of states. So do you personally trust the DOJ will conduct a thorough investigation, and should Americans have faith in this?
Well, I'm always optimistic and hopeful, but I'm a little bit cynical right now, because we've expected a Durham report for what, a year now, something like that, and we never got it. And this is they're not out there really busting things to break this thing down, to try to resolve some of these issues and investigate this. So I look at it and I say, we're seeing more and more specific allegations, more and more affidavits, more and more evidence come forward, and yet we're still not seeing the AG or any evidence that the AG is out there actively investigating these incidents with any kind of alacrity. And so that gives me real concern that we're going to see any meaningful investigation by the DOJ.
Mm-hmm. And finally, Congressman, so the Trump legal team is participating in a series of hearings on election fraud in a number of battleground states, Arizona being one of them. What do you hope comes from these hearings?
Well, three things I hope. Number one, that it lets people know that this isn't over and that they should continue to have hope and still look for evidence. I guess the second thing is I'm looking for real evidence, and we started seeing that with affidavits and testimony coming forward. So it wasn't any longer this kind of generic feeling or sense. It's actual evidence that's coming forward saying, yeah, there's some real problems here. And then the third thing is the remedy. And the remedy in most of these states is at bare minimum, a forensic accounting. And we're running out of time on that. We need them to get after this and make this accounting to make sure that things did go well. If you're a state that thought it went well, like some of Arizona's leaders say, they keep claiming that's why they don't want to do a forensic audit, well, then let's do the forensic audit. And if it went well, you're going to prove what a great state Arizona was. But if there are problems, you will detect them, and then we can pursue additional remedies. Those are the things I think we should be getting at immediately.
All right, Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs joining us to talk about the election and much, much more. Thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.